Any alternative to abortion access is violence. We could talk about how abortion is a medical procedure over 10 times safer than giving birth in the first trimester, or how over 1 in 4 people who can get pregnant will get an abortion at some point in their lives. But above all of that, you don't have control over your life if you don't have baseline control over your body. Everyone deserves access to dignified, affordable, on-demand reproductive care. Since the federal government and most state Medicaids don't pay for abortions, reproductive health care is often paid for by a network of local nonprofit funds. These abortion funds help people who need it most to pay for their abortions. If someone can't afford this time-sensitive health care, funds help them avoid a situation where they're spending weeks postponing an increasingly expensive medical procedure and chasing a rising price. If you have the disposable income, please chip in to fund Texas Choice in the link below. Don't give up the fight for a better world. And now, welcome to the game. Hello, my name is Alex Teplitz. I use he, him, and they, them pronouns. I'm very excited to be the groundskeeper tonight for a game of Bluebeard's Bride. Very excited as well to introduce you to my cast, beginning first with Dillin.
Hi, I'm Dillin. I use she, he, and they pronouns, and I am very excited. This is my first time playing this game, and I'm just really glad to be here.
Thank you. Next with Vivi.
Hi, I'm Vivi or Vivacia, and I use she, her pronouns. And yeah, this game's been on my list.
And Puja.
Everybody. Hey everyone, I'm Puja. My pronouns are she, her. I played Bluebeard's Bride a very long time ago, and so I am I'm excited to come back to an exciting game with a wonderful table.
And Gonah.
Hi, I'm Gonah Hawking. I use she, her pronouns. And this is one of those games that I've heard in the Zeitgeist for like a while, but I never knew how much I needed to play it until I got to join this group, and I'm so excited.
I'm very, very excited to have all of you here tonight. I also want to give a special content warning for those of you who are not familiar with Bluebeard's Bride. This is a game of feminine horror. It contains references to and mentions of the horrors that women and femme-perceived folks face in the world that surrounds us, including threats of violence, sexual violence, domestic violence, emotional manipulation, gaslighting, issues surrounding reproductive care as well, abortion, miscarriage. Specifically in this game, we might be talking about the way that women have their agency taken away from them, not just by strangers, but by those who are closest to them, who are supposed to, in many ways, care for or protect them. We are telling a story tonight that is located in historical sexism, that is located in, as I said previously, domestic violence, expectations that are placed on a wife by a husband in a society that has certain expectations for this woman. Please, to those of us who might find these issues to be particularly sensitive, take care as well. And just so you all know, there are safety tools in place tonight for me and for my cast. We might call this at any time if we're feeling uncomfortable. We might be stepping away at some points. We're using a red, yellow, green XNO card system. But all that aside, I'm very excited to dive into the world without doubt spot. We begin our game in Scotland, Cawdor Castle in Inverness, where the Lord Cawdor, Lord Thane, has been called away, and his newlywed bride finds herself alone, not the first time, but one of the few times she's been alone since the eve of her wedding with this lofty general, Beth. Each of you tonight are playing an aspect of Our Lady Macbeth. If any of you are familiar with the story, you might know Lady Macbeth to be a serpent-tongued woman, convincing her husband to commit certain crimes. But we begin instead on the eve of her wedding. I have some questions for all of you. Now, I would like to know what each of these sisters look like and what each sister, who each sister is being played by. So, Dillin, who are you playing tonight?
Yes, I am playing, so sorry. I am playing Josie. I am playing, the virgin sister. She is, wide-eyed, demure, uh, trusting, and naive. And all of that is very, very visible, especially in her eyes, which are light, soft color blue.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And Vivi, who are you playing tonight?
I am playing the mother, and she is a battleship. She walks with authority, and she is a kingmaker. So she will definitely, try and give somebody a little bit more power than they actually deserve, as long as it, serves our purposes.
Fascinating. Thank you. And Puja.
I'm playing the witch, and she is dark-haired, dark eyes, but instead of having the dark eyes that suggests doe-like innocence, there's something in those dark eyes that suggest wisdom beyond however many years are present on her face. And she's the untamed.
And finally, Gonah.
Her mouth is almost always painted to be a nice light pink, because she's aware that most people, when they perceive her, they perceive someone who doesn't know what's going on. But even though it's painted pink, there's always a slight smirk there to show that there is knowledge. There are words, and she knows how to use them very well.
That is fantastic. And what sister are you playing?
I am playing the Fatale.
Delightful. Fatale, you have answered, what does the bride's mouth look like? Will you also answer for me, how do others keep her quiet?
Others keep her quiet by simply looking at her, by perceiving her and seeing that even behind that knowledge, there are times where her words will stutter, and she is not as sure of herself in those moments. And those are the times when people will strike and will make her be quiet.
Thank you. Virgin, you've described how the bride's eyes look like. How do others know you want them when they gaze into your eyes?
Because that's the only time that I look away.
Thank you. Mother, what is the bride's figure like?
Yeah, She is full figured. She is definitely well fed. She's not a typical, wave, skinny, willowy. She is well fed and well developed.
Mm. And what do others wish was different about it?
They probably want her to be thinner and probably less healthy looking, because that is not how women are supposed to look like.
Mm. Thank you. And Witch, what is the bride's hair like?
The bride's hair is long and thick and heavy, cascading in waves to past her hips. It glints brightly even in the lowest light. It is a thing of beauty.
Mm. And how do others like you to wear it?
Her whole life, the bride has always been told that her hair should be put up and away. Having hair like that down is asking for too much attention. It's drawing too much notice.
Thank you. I have a question that each of you are going to answer for me. We're going to use the same order that we've been using, starting with Dillin, Vivi, Puja, and then Gonah. What are you leaving behind from your provincial life to become Macbeth's bride?
A line of expectations, a life mapped out for us in full without any of our input.
Does Macbeth listen to you? Ask for your input.
Me?
Mhm.
He seems to.
What about Vivi?
Leave behind family, lots of siblings and cousins, and they're all younger than we are. So we also leave behind responsibility.
Responsibility. This is something that is pressed on, taken up your time?
Yes. Always teaching the younger kids, making sure that, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, being responsible for them, putting others in front of yourself.
What do you leave behind? No, Witch. Sorry.
Oh, witch. It's hard when you say witch or WHICH.
Puja,
Yeah.
what do you leave behind in your provincial life?
Her connection to the land and the freedom that comes from knowing it and trusting it and being held by it. She has come to a foreign place that she does not know and that she doesn't have a connection with.
Do you feel safer outside?
Yes. You can see what's coming.
And Gonah.
She leaves behind the freedom to an extent of choice. When you are, when you're in your own land, you get to choose, for instance, who your friends are, who your family is, whom you might love eventually. But when you are chosen to be a bride, you're plucked out like a flower from the rose bed, and you end up sitting in a castle with people that you must make nice with and you must smile for. And you don't get the choices that you used to have at your own home.
Will you also answer for me, going back in reverse order? When you first met, what loving gesture did Bluebeard make that won you over?
When Bluebeard found me, I was uh, working out in the yard, and he rode up on an absolute stallion of a horse, and he actually worked with me for a day, and he helped me do my chores. And of course, we did it in half, maybe even a third of the time. And that was the first time that someone had actually stopped and helped instead of simply adding on to all of my duties. We ended up spending the rest of the day just out in the field, laying there and talking.
Puja, what loving gesture did Macbeth make to you that won you over?
He gave me a garden on the grounds that are mine and are to be my sanctuary. It's small. It's mostly covered with more ornamental flowers than I would have chosen for myself, but it's something.
And Mother, what gesture did he make when you met that won you over?
He promised me time to myself, and a small library with books that I don't have to share with little grubby fingers that like to ruin books. So he promised me time to myself and time to learn.
Virgin.
He swore to me a life of adventure and stories that we would make together that we could keep forever.
Virgin, what gift did you present to Bluebeard before the wedding, and why did you choose it?
I gave to him the veil from my mother's wedding dress, the one I was supposed to wear in a different life, to prove that I left it behind for him.
What does this veil look like?
It is real lace, so much so that it has that slightly yellowed tint that lace gets over time, in a very intricate hand-sewed design of vines from the center going out towards the edges.
And Mother, what gift did you present to Bluebeard?
The wedding shirt that I had been working on for years for my future husband, with embroidery on it, even though, well, I am not really an embroidery person. There's probably blood on there too from the poking of the fingers. But yes, the shirt that, you know, my future husband was supposed to wear, that has been in the makes and sitting in my box waiting for the right man.
What have you embroidered on it?
Wild roses and other hardy, clinging flowers that grow wild.
What was your gift?
My gift was a bouquet of flowers, both of the ones embroidered on this wedding shirt, but also other flowers in that encompass the sense Macbeth over time had mentioned loving. And it was in a bouquet both specifically for him, but also for the wedding itself as the wedding bouquet.
Did you pick these flowers yourself?
I did, very painstakingly, I woke up, the bride woke up very early on the day of the wedding to go around town to pick all of these flowers.
Hmm. And finally, Gonah, what was your gift?
All throughout planning this wedding, Bluebeard's mother, or Macbeth's mother, was a part of it, was somehow involved, was pervasive throughout the entire process. And so I offered, and he accepted, to have a day with Macbeth's mother and just take her out of the castle, make her not a part of the equation and not under the feet of her and soon to be our servants.
Hmm. Interesting. Did you enjoy your time with Macbeth's mother?
It was very interesting. She had her opinions of his choice of me specifically, and she seemed to very much want to bring up everything that must happen on the wedding night, as well as the day of the wedding.
Hmm. Finally, beginning with Puja, then Vivi, then Dillin, then Gonah. Which do you trust your generous husband, Macbeth, or do you hold unkind suspicions toward him?
Don't think I have seen something that arouses suspicion at this time.
Hmm. Why is that? Have you avoided rumors, or simply have not heard them come to you?
I believe in the things I can see, feel, hear, and touch. So I will determine for myself.
Hmm. Vivi, do you trust your generous husband?
For now, she does. She has heard the stories, but she also thinks that a lot of people are foolish and like to just talk for the sake of talking. But she also knows that men are prone to lying and pretending. So it is a careful trust.
Hmm.
It is a trust until you prove me otherwise.
Do you hope for proof in this trust?
No,
Hmm.
she hopes that everybody was wrong.
Dillin,
I trust him wholeheartedly, without an ounce of doubt.
why is that?
Because I love him and because he loves me, and there's just nothing else to consider.
Hmm. And finally,
I trust him as far as I trust anyone.
hmm.
So it is not that I feel that he has done nothing wrong. It's that everyone does a little bit of wrong. So as long as you go in assuming that something is wrong, you are either right or pleasantly surprised.
Hmm. Are you then an inherently suspicious person, or do you consider yourself an optimist?
I think I am an optimist because, I mean, it's not like he's done anything terrible that I know of, just there are whispers on the outskirts.
Macbeth, a general, your first husband, but you are not his first wife. Strong man, tall, brave, commendable. rising quickly through the ranks of the Scottish army. Thank you. We move from the wedding preparations to our sisterly bonds. Very exciting. On your character sheets, you will find that there are questions. I would love, beginning with the mother, for you to read off one of your sisterly bond and assign a different sister for it.
All right, so we're going to go with the first one. You know best. I do know best. And try to guide my wayward sisters. But the Fatale irritates me with her obstinance. Because, you know, she likes to undermine my authority and not listen to what's proper and what we're supposed to be doing. So there were certain times when instead of being proper and going home, she would stay out later and have fun at the bonfire with people that we should not be associating with. And that did not make me happy. That's not the people we wanted in our life.
Excellent. You can write down the Fatale in that spot on your sisterly bonds. Fatale, would you read off one of your bonds and assign a sister to it?
My sisters are who they are, boring and predictable, but Virgin has no idea of a woman's true power. I wish to reach her, not because she needs to know how the world works, but because if she did know, it would unlock so much potential. It would unlock so many things for us to be able to move forward and use that power to the best of our ability.
Wonderful. You can write Virgin in that spot. Virgin, would you read off one of your bonds?
Absolutely. I trust my sisters for the most part. But mother blackens my innocence with her every word. She doesn't understand that being sour and pushy and demanding of the things that we all might want is what draws ire. And if we could just be pleasant, then maybe things would be more pleasant.
And which would you pick a bond? Oh, you are muted.
Yeah. The sisters are not nearly as important as power, but Fatale is a useful tool. She helped me, you see, when I have a taste for the wild, for the free. Fatale's always the one to come with me. She bridles against the chains as hard as I do.
Delightful. And Fatale, will you use your second bond?
But I also do try to draw in mother with my seductive aura. But it's very hard for me to try and hide my insecurities from her. She sees not only when I laugh at some silly boy's joke, but also when I cut back with a similar joke of my own that maybe cut a little too deep. And she always seems to be there, ready to tell me that I am too loud, I'm too brash, I do too much.
Mother.
Well, I do trust the witch to have my back because she supported me in a time of need. when Fatale and Virgin got us in trouble, and our life would have gone down the wrong path because she knows the herbs to take care of it. So she had our back and she made sure we weren't stuck with someone who would further hurt us.
Interesting. Virgin.
Sorry.
All good.
The witch often helps me play tricks on the others. I do get bored sometimes, and she's the one to go to if you disturb mother's books. It will particularly get a rise out of her. Of course, you do these things sparingly, but it does add a little excitement to life.
And finally, witch.
The Virgin draws an evil to her, and I keep it at bay with as many of the potions and amulets and little trinkets that I hear of that could protect us as I can get my hands on.
Delightful. Lady Macbeth. You dream on that first night, your honeymoon. You dream as you lie beside your husband. His massive form dwarfs you in a way that no other man has been able to. You dream of a massive cavern, dark spires, wisps of smoke, and three figures. They stand around a lake that boils. When shall we three meet again? In thunder, lightning, or in rain? When the hurly-burly's done, when the battle's lost and won, that will be air, the set of sun, where the place, upon the heath, there to meet with. That third witch pauses, and she looks to where you stand. 4 and 1. In this hot, dark cave, there to meet with Lady Macbeth. I come, Grey Malkin. Paddock calls. Anon. Fair is foul and foul is fair. Hover through the fog and filthy air. These three women turn. Far off shrieks and shouts. And they step into the boiling water. You see hair and skin and clothes slow off. And that lake turns a deep and rusty red. And you awaken to find yourself bleeding. That is where we're going to take our first little 5-minute break. We will return without a damned spot after 5 minutes as we enter Cawdor Castle. Welcome back to Out Down Spot. We're very excited to have you here tonight and to be supporting this amazing and very important cause. We have some incentives here in the chat. I'm pulling these up. Here we go. So our incentives here tonight. Bluebeard's Bride is a game that involves a token known as the Ring. The sister that holds the ring has a little bit more power than some of the other sisters, makes some decisions over how the bride reacts to situations, and can make certain moves known as ring moves that the other sisters will not have access to. Our first incentive is switch the ring bearer. You can do this at any time. You just donate and tell me, and I will switch the ring bearer from one sister to another sister. Just so you guys know, you can also give up the ring to another sister at some point if you feel uncomfortable with making a decision. A sister can try and take the ring from you, but cannot take it unless you actively give it up, or unless this move is used. Our second incentive is to have me describe a new object in the room. These objects are items of significance. They are what is going to possibly prompt the bride to search for evidence of Macbeth's doings. So if you want me to describe something else about the room, that incentive is for there. 3 is to have a sister describe something that she is feeling. So if one of the sisters is maybe being a little bit more quiet, if you use this incentive, that's going to allow me to ask a sister to get a little bit more into her psyche and how she's feeling at the moment. Our 4th incentive is to reduce a sister's trauma track by 1. Trauma is a genuine threat in this game. Our bride faces physical, emotional, and mental violence, things that are going to affect her and her health. Each of our sisters will have a trauma track. When she takes some kind of trauma, she gets closer to shattering. Each sister can shatter. And when she does so, that part of the bride is lost to madness. That is a very significant incentive. Number 5, something precious gets ruined or a new horror appears. Donating this allows me to take things away from the bride in this new and unsettling location. Something that is dear becomes ruined, or something dark and devastating crawls its way out of this unfamiliar castle to face our unsuspecting heroine victim. And finally, if you are so generous as to help us with this cause and to donate for our last incentive, the house or someone will come to the aid of the bride. This is not something you can often expect, especially not in the world of Macbeth, not here in Scotland at this period in time, but by helping us with our cause and helping out those who are affected by the fight for reproductive rights, which is everyone, but you are also helping out the bride here in our story. Fabulous. Now, before I begin, before we enter Cawdor Castle and unveil the story of your husband, I have a final question for each of my players. Beginning first with Dillin. There are rumors and stories about your new husband. You trust him and you love him. There is a single room in the castle that he has forbade you from entering. Virgin, are you curious?
I'm only curious in a sense that I'm curious about, everything that about him. I would love to know everything, but isn't he entitled to some privacy? Isn't he entitled to some secrets? I don't question it.
Mother, are you curious?
Absolutely. It's why are we hiding things already? And why are we pushing it in my face like he's testing me already testing me? And also, she has heard all the rumors. So what is he trying to hide from us? And how can she keep the other sisters safe? So yeah, she's curious.
Which are you curious?
Absolutely. I love to be free and explore, and that's what I did on my land. And this is what I have instead of my home. And to not know every inch of it, that's not normal. It's not acceptable.
And Fatale. Are you muted? I think you're muted.
You're right. I am incredibly curious, especially since up to this point, anytime I've had a question, it's been answered quickly and to the best of my knowledge, truthfully. And so the idea that this is the line, why is this the line that can't be crossed? And so I do have a curiosity as to what he could be hiding, or what else has he not been truthful about?
We begin in the grand entryway of Cawdor Castle. Stone walls, velvet rugs, candelabras and candles, carved wood. A massive, sprawling mansion that you have only begun to explore. Your husband has set out. War is coming, and he is a man of importance. You hold Mother in your hands, the ring of keys. As he set out, he leaned over to kiss you chastely on the cheek, and you saw, poking out from under his armor, an embroidered collar. Looking down at this ring of keys in your hand, Mother, one of them catches your eye. Would you describe it for me?
Yeah, holding, while still thinking about him actually wearing his wedding shirt for luck, going through the keys and realizing there's a big, heavy iron key, very old-timey, very rough, but it feels kind of warm. Like somebody just held it in their fist and it still has the warmth on it. And that makes her very curious where these old-fashioned, big, heavy key, it feels like somebody just used it, would lead to.
Mm-hmm. You walk down the hallway from this entry hall. The door that you step up to, heavy set, dark wood and darker metal, screws. Strange to walk down this first hallway and find yourself faced with a door that is uninviting. There are many inviting places in this castle, just as many ones like this. You slip the key into the lock. It turns, and you feel the key grow warmer in your grasp. Pushing open this door, the first thing you see are red curtains. Layers and layers and layers of them. Surrounding you as well are folded clothes, shelves, more curtains, sheets, dresses as well here in this area. It looks as though there's a soft and subtle light, candles that are placed between shelves, but you can't exactly see to the back of the room here. As soon as you step inside, you are sweating and sweltering. You don't see any windows, no airflow, thick and heavy atmosphere. Now, we are beginning the meat of this game. Since you hold the ring, you are able to make ring moves, but you can also use one of your maiden moves if you would like. Again, since this is some of our first time playing Bluebeard's Bride, I'm going to just read off some of the moves for those of us in the audience as well. The maiden moves that any sister has access to. You can care for someone, investigate a mysterious object, take stock of a tense situation. If you have the ring, you can shiver from fear, caress a horror, dirty yourself with violence, or cry out for help. And you can only make exit moves when you are trying to escape a room. Mother, what do you do?
She would probably stop, notice that there's sweat rolling, despite that we're in Inverness, and this is a cold castle. And she'll probably try and take stock, because there's a lot of places here in the shadows that she can't see, to see what might be hiding and stalking her from the shadows.
Okay, you are taking stock here. Ask me one question.
What stalks the bride from the shadows in this hot, sweltering room?
Walking deeper in this room, you do see the light of a candle placed upon a shelf, flickering curtains, clothes. As you step to the side around, the shadows of this flame are cast through one set of slightly darker red curtains. And there's something standing behind. At least you think there's something standing. The outline of what appears to be some kind of massive figure. Once again, larger than you. What stalks you here in the shadows is right in front of you. And it is grotesque.
So being who she is, the mother would dirty herself with violence, startled like that. Somebody in a locked room stalking her, and she would try and disable them, swinging the next heavy object.
You are dirtying yourself with violence. All right.
Wouldn't be the first time.
I believe you need to make a roll for me. You're going to roll 2d6 and add your carnality.
1. Okay, that is 8. 7 plus 1.
Okay. On an 8, you will inflict trauma. You also get to pick one. You can disable them, silence them, or mutilate them.
Yeah, she was trying to disable them so they're not a physical threat. That's what she was worrying about the most in that split instant, seeing something standing there.
Okay. All right. And will you specify for me on an 8 how this move makes you vulnerable?
Thinking she probably picked up maybe a coat hanger, a coat stand, and picked it up and just swung it, and making herself open to everything that's not right in front of her, that she's so focused on swinging that she probably also overstepped and losing her balance.
Mother, you have been careless with that coat hanger. As you swing it, the sharpened edge tears through the curtains, dropping these beautiful fabrics at your feet. You see standing behind as you bring this sharpened weapon directly into the eye of a mannequin that you have torn through a beautiful white dress hidden behind a curtain. Long strands of lace dripping with pearls, embroidered with thin silver thread. As you cut through it, those threads begin to unravel. The curtains falling at your feet move towards you, slinking like worms, and start to wrap gently at first around your small pinky toe, and then up your ankle and your body. Your other three sisters standing behind you see this as satins and silks start to compress around your joints.
So, could she try and caress it and see if it would let go? Maybe, like, oh, I did not mean to hurt you. So maybe calm down and stop smothering me.
You wish to caress the mannequin you have so gravely wounded.
I'm like, I am so sorry. Did not think that was you. I thought it was a dude.
You can roll plus blood.
Yeah, no, that's a 3.
Okay. You trace your hand down the face of this mannequin, and you see, just like the stitching on the dress, as it comes undone, winding around your hand, the stitching on the face of this mannequin comes undone as well. The canvas flesh of it peeling away to reveal underneath a skull, a jaw, stitched together with the same silver thread that clacks and hangs open, and then shuts abruptly on your finger.
Ow.
It slowly starts to chew. Other sisters, what are you doing?
I will run up to the mother. It's just like the figure in the dress is just chewing on her.
Yeah.
Essentially. I'm gonna pull her away from it and say, get away from that. It's not ours.
On a failure of caress a horror, you will direct what is intended for you to another victim in the house, mother, as the virgin starts to pull you away, tugging your hand out of the skull's mouth. Your nail is ruined. There's a deep cut in your hand. You step away, and this mannequin reaches up to embrace you, virgin, throwing arms around your neck and tugging you against it. You feel 3 pinpricks of pain on the side of your face, 1, 2, 3, as stitching begins to weave itself through your cheek.
May I do something?
You have your maiden moves available.
I do. So the maiden move to investigate a mysterious object, but I would like to do it using my face move of the moth. And I would like to just let the dress hold me a while and look at it up close. I fully intended to get us out of here and away from his things, but now that I'm here, I could look at it, even if it hurts. So I wanna
Amazing.
stay.
Yeah, that would definitely make Mother shiver with fear.
Okay.
For the virgin, definitely.
Well, first you are investigating an object using your moth move. So I believe you get to ask me a question.
Yes. So I get to ask a question, which is, I'm going to ask, what memories does this item hold?
Mhm.
And then you get to ask me a question,
Ah,
and my answer will be the truth.
okay, fantastic. And you do get to ask too. Also,
Yes.
Virgin, would you mark for me one trauma
I
as
will. I will.
you feel stitching weave itself through your face? What memories does this item hold? The dress
The
you are looking at.
dress. Yes.
Strangled in this embrace as you feel silks and lace weave themselves around your neck, around your wrists, pressing beautiful indentations against your skin. You know that this dress was worn when someone was unmade. This beautiful, clean, and gorgeous fabric has been torn apart repeatedly and sewn back together, just as the person wearing it was torn apart in the outfit. And Virgin, what's the most expensive thing that you've ever ruined?
My mother's wedding dress. Ironically, I tore bits of the lace as a sign of my own devotion to someone else. It was handmade.
Mm,
May I, as part of that ability, mark a second trauma to ask another question?
you may.
Why did Bluebeard keep it?
Mm.
Why did Macbeth keep it?
And you get actually two more questions. So, because you get to ask two when you investigate. So, why did Macbeth keep this item? And one more, if you would like.
Okay, got it. I think, whose item is this?
Okay. Then, first, this dress belonged to a noble woman. You can tell this is fine stitching, fine work. No one of insignificance would be killed in a dress like this, laid out, cut apart. This belonged to a previous lady of Inverness, not a wife, but long ago, another bride. A man who used to keep this castle before your husband was gifted it. And why did Bluebeard keep this item? Isn't it obvious? It's beautiful. He likes to keep beautiful things hidden away, where only he can look at them or share the pleasure with very few. You are slowly being strangled by this fabric. Mother, you are shivering in fear. What are you most afraid is going to happen here?
That she will lose the virgin because she chose this room. That she will lose the carefree and innocent and naive part of herself because she was too bold and too aggressive.
Wonderful. You are losing the virgin. You can see her warm skin tone going a pallid blue color. Will you keep the ring and choose two, or pass the ring and choose one?
Well, I would like to pass the ring to the virgin, and I would have it speak to me, because this was my fault. This is what I brought upon us, not upon the others.
You slip the ring into the Virgin's hand. And you see that skull moving, whispering over the Virgin's shoulder as the mannequin head sinks forward. It is the duty of a lady to watch her house, to take care of beautiful things in beautiful places. If you do not take care of your things, they will be ruined. You will be ruined. You have made a ruin of this place. You take one mental trauma, and I think, considering you now have the ring virgin, you can only make exit moves if you are bearing the ring. Are there any ring moves or other moves you would like to make?
I
Or-
would, as the
Please.
witch, before while this transfer is taking place, I would like to take stock of the situation. And we know now what we should have done in the first place. But what do I roll to take stock?
You do not need to roll to take stock. You are going to ask me one of the questions from one of these moves.
What does this place demand of us to be free?
Standing back from the situation as you see one of your sisters slowly strangling. This place asks, are you fulfilling all of your duties? This place asks, what value does your appearance have if you are not carefully curating it? And this place asks, what value does the bride place on things? As you take stock of the situation, looking around, you see layers and layers. Things like, as I've said, sheets, pillowcases. This should be a place where you come to refresh soiled linens, make sure that every room is in order. It is also a place where temptation is hidden. Yeah. Virgin, would you like to make any moves?
Yes, please. I would like, you said that I can only make exit moves, right?
You can make any moves now that you have the ring.
Oh, now that I have the ring. Oh, okay, great.
Yes.
Understand. So then this thing, this dress wrapped around me, I lightly caress it back with gentle fingers, and I apologize. I say, I'm so sorry. We shouldn't have come in here. This isn't our place. We're gonna leave.
Wonderful. I think that is here for someone. Bring yourself a silence, get the ring, cry out for help. Will you roll for resilience for me?
Okay. That is an 8.
Okay. You should not have come in here. You hear the skeleton clatter and clack as it bites down gently on the flesh of your shoulder. Why would a woman loyal to her husband, not be content in anything. Wearing anything.
Of course.
Would you like to propose a truth about this room? What do you think happened here? Who do you think it happened to? And why? And this is specifically related to Macbeth.
I think that this room was closed for a reason. And I think that this serves as a warning for anyone who is so full of doubt and mistrust that they have to snoop and break promises. And that shouldn't be us.
And the woman here, did she break promises?
I think she did. I think she's learned her lesson too late. She's just trying to do us a favor.
Would you like a token of faithfulness or disloyalty?
Faithfulness, please.
Okay. You whisper those words. The silks and satins and lace drop away, and you are left in your hands with a single scrap of silver lace, a token of faithfulness.
I tuck it inside. Sisters, we have to go from this
Yes.
place.
Mhm.
I
As you
don't.
s-
I have no love of staying here.
As you push out of this room, the torn silks flapping, but no breeze. You are all drenched slightly in sweat from the warmth of this place. You step out into a hallway that is not the same as the one that you entered. Or maybe you just got turned around. But as you step back out, you do not see the grand foyer down the hall, chandeliers, candelabras. Instead, you find yourself in a bright and airy hallway, rows of glass windows, stained slightly, like they haven't been taken care of in a long time. Virgin, you hold the ring of keys. As you look down at it, there's one that catches your eye. Would you describe it for me?
It is it's beautiful. It's a ornate skeleton key, a key to probably many places, that has the thick black ring with sort of a metal design in the center of flowers and vines, and the big chunky teeth to the key that skeleton keys often have. It's a key of possibility.
You hold this key, stepping away from the room you left behind. You see towards the end of this long windowed hallway a metal door, curls and engraving, and a single keyhole in the center, large.
I first look to the witch for approval. Uh, this doesn't seem like the last room, but still, I'm a little nervous.
You, the witch puts her hand on yours, the look in her eyes, assuring you that she will protect you.
I begin.
You put the key in, slide it into the door. There's a loud as the metal slides up and away, turning the key, and then slides apart as you pull out that ring of keys. Before you is an altar, sister. You see stained glass windows, rows of benches, and a statue at the far end of a massive woman in white, her hands clasped, her eyes raised to the ceiling. Draped over these benches, beautiful fabrics. There's a light that filters in this room, painting it in colors. Towards the very end of this long cathedral-like room, that altar, it is draped with soft velvet cushions and a figure lying upon it.
I like this room. I would look at the statue of the woman.
Looking towards the statue of the woman, let's see, you are investigating an object, perhaps?
Yes.
Okay. Ask me one of those questions.
What about this is odd or uncanny? At first glance, to me, it seems perfect.
Stepping into this room with your sisters, looking up towards this statue, it is perfect in so many ways. This woman, her breasts are bared. They're small and shapely. Her chin tilted up. You see a square, sharp, and angled jaw. Her eyes towards the ceiling, her hands clasped as if in prayer. But as you step around the altar, you see a second part to the statue, kneeling before her, cast in white marble, is a man. His hands on her waist, his mouth pressed directly between her thighs as she looks towards heaven. She is devoured from below.
I think because we did get a pass the ring, and also because this would overwhelm the lights from my eyes, I would love to pass the ring, and if I am able to choose who I pass the ring to.
Yes, you are voluntarily giving up the ring in this case. I'm not forcing you to pass it yet, so you can pass it to any sister you would like.
I think the Fatale has to have it in this room. I cannot. I can't handle this. You take it. And
Yes, I
stare.
recognize this.
Yes. So opens the book. This is what that one is.
Yeah. So as I look at this statue, of course, I have my own memories that this would unlock. But what other memories does this item hold? I would like to investigate it.
What other memories does this item hold? Looking towards this statue and the altar in front of it, as you step forward, take the ring of keys, looking towards it, you can see that there is a moisture that is lingering down at the base of this statue. This beautiful white marble is dripping slightly, and you can just tell, Fatale, that someone has enjoyed themselves here many, many times. It almost brings a moisture to your own mouth to see. Leaving behind the humidity of the previous room, this place is cool and beautiful. The colors that dance over the pews, you could imagine they would dance over your body as well.
Looking over all of those, I would like to take stock, because obviously this statue is beautiful and a testament to all things sexual and loving. But what else is there? There's never just the good. There's always got to be something terrible around the corner. So what traps have been laid for me here?
The traps that have been laid for you, Fatale, are on the altar. You face towards this statue. There's another figure carved in stone, surrounded, as I said, with velvet and pillows. And as you step back, craning your neck, looking up and down, you step into, feel your body pressed against cold stone. This room invites you to join the traps that have been laid. Are ones that want and grasp. You other sisters, you see sprawled out, like one of your French girls, a nude woman carved in white marble, no blush to her cheeks, her head shaved. And unlike this statue, she is thick and delightful, curves carved elegantly in marble, hands pressed in ecstasy between her legs, one to her throat. And you know, as you take stock of this room, this statue wants something from you, Fatale.
I would like, because I know that to others this may be a horror, but to me it just feels like someone who knows themselves. But I would like to caress a horror on the shaved marble statue.
You reach to caress this horror. As you do so, other sisters, you know, the Fatale has engaged in some activities that others of you have not. I know you are a single woman, but in many ways you are 4 women. Separate choices, separate experiences. Do you think it is right for a bride to step forward, gaze at something like this, to want it? Do any of you have opinions on your sister's conduct?
Well, I think animals in nature approach each other freely, openly, without shame or need to hide. It is only natural to learn about oneself. by looking at others.
Mm.
So no, I think my sister is doing what is most natural in the world.
Well, as you know, this would go straight up to why, you know, the mother sometimes disagrees with the Fatale, because she would think that that is not the bride's job to do this. This is the man's job to give to you as part of the bond, and you should not take it for yourself and take it away from him. So
Mhm.
she would definitely not agree with that. Nope.
But this room wasn't locked to us. This he tells us when we shouldn't go in a place. That must mean that he wanted us to see this. Maybe he wanted us to look at it.
Yeah.
Maybe this is what he wants, and
Like he wanted us to see the last room. Mhm.
he did not want us to go in there.
But we had the key, and it is not the room that he forbid us.
I don't
Did he
know if
want
he did.
both of us to see both of this? You know, is he teaching us another lesson?
Well, maybe. I mean, this looks like a good lesson.
It really does. About the last one, I don't know if he didn't want us in there at all or destroying it.
Right.
But we're not trying to destroy this.
No, I don't want to destroy it. I just want to learn.
Mm. You reach forward, Fatale. How do you caress this horror?
Initially, I will start with the jawline, right below where the shaved head is, so as not to accentuate it, but it does show that I'm aware. And starting from the jawline, I will move down to the neck, across the shoulder, down towards her hips. And there I will just lay my hand flat on that, you know, the hip part, you know where it is. Like, I don't know the specific, like the name for that, but like just right there, I will lay it. I will not clutch. I will not be rough, but simply await there.
Would you roll plus blood for me?
Absolutely. It's a 5 on the die, so a 6.
A 6. That is a miss, but maybe that is intentional. Fatale, you run your hands down this marble statue, resting them, and you feel your hands sink in. The head of the statue slowly turns. You see the pale stone woman flinch away from you as your hand sinks into the stone, pulling back. Her hand comes off of her throat, comes away from between her thighs, and she flinches away from you. You can't pull your hand out. You can feel bone in your grip, something hard and cold, as she draws her legs up, tries to pull away, kicks out towards you, your hand pulling deeper inside her, scooping up into her rib cage.
I am going to
While she's frozen in this, oh my God, what the heck am I gonna do? Can I ask the mother care for the statue or the girl, because she has no hair? Somebody cut off all her hair.
Mm-hmm.
And
is that a ring move or a maiden move? That is
a maiden move.
Awesome.
And use my shawl and just swing it over her and cover her from you know.
You wrap your shawl around the head. She stops kicking for a moment. And you see that second statue, the woman looking up and the man. Her eyes have shifted to look down. And that second statue, that man, slowly begins to stand, getting off of his knees, turning to face all of you. As you wrap and tie that shawl around this woman. No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. You're doing it right. It's just been a long time and you startled me. I haven't felt something so deep in a long time. Your hand, Fatale, you can feel inside the stone the bones of her rib cage, her pelvis. Although it is cold, although you cannot help but be pulled further in to this stone embrace, the way she is trembling is as much anxiety as it is ecstasy. You have eased the suffering of this woman. How do you show her that you are sincere in your care? You, of course, have beautiful long tresses of hair.
She would probably, since she knows that, you know, the hair is where a lot of the vitality and the soul of a woman lies. She would take some of the extra fabric that she has on her dress. Not quite sure if it's maybe a little train or something of the beautiful fabric. She's wearing something with little pearls sewn on, and she will just like cover it over the scarf and say, "You are still beautiful. They cannot take that from you. Don't let them take it from you."
It is easy to forget how to be beautiful. It is. You can tell that she is distracted from the emotions of the Fatale. I was told that I would do a good job. I do a good job. If only I looked a little more like you. She says that not to you, Mother, and not to you, Fatale, but looking up towards the other statue, this thin and sharp-boned woman who has long hair like your own that does not cover her body. The two statues are looking down at the four of you now. Mother, she leans up into your embrace against you. You also feel her sort of sink in a little bit, pressing the rib cage against you, the two of you holding this woman together. That man stands to his full height. The ceiling pushes away as he stands looking over down at the four of you, dwarfed again. He is bare, white stone, the stained glass windows, blues, reds, golds, and purples painting across a strong, muscled body. One hand comes down on one side of the altar, then another side of the altar, leaning forward. You can see that white marble mouth is dripping and dripping and dripping, gaping open.
What I would like to take stock. What does this place demand of me?
Which this place demands your engagement, asks you to be devoured. You see the stone teeth of this man, the gaping mouth, You could fit inside easily, be swallowed down the same way that your two sisters are swallowed in to the flesh of this stone woman. How are you going to allow yourself to be devoured? That is what it asks.
It wants to take from us, sisters.
Well,
It wants.
can't.
Fatale will pull her hair over her shoulder, like suddenly very aware of it in a way that she was not previously, and say, what does it wish to take?
I think it is for us to decide what it is we are willing to give.
That massive face of the man looms down over you. Hands go to arms. He reaches with one hand to lift up the altar, mother, Fatale, and woman, and slowly bringing the three of you towards his stone mouth.
This is not the man to whom we are promised.
Does he have any control over this? Can I actually use my kingmaker move? Because what the mother would think is that he, not what I think, right? The mother would think he is overwhelmed by the nudity and sensuality of the woman in front of him, and she would think he would need more power over himself to pull back and only give himself to the person that he's married to.
This man. What do you say to him in this moment?
That sir, you are stronger than your carnality. You are stronger than your desire. You are strong enough to step back from this wanton display of sexuality. She is not yours.
You may heal one trauma, Kingmaker, as this statue pauses for a moment. Statue pauses for a moment. The metal hand slowly crushes the base of the altar, dropping the three of you to the floor. Your hands, your chest come away from the stone woman as she shatters against the marble, leaving within the stone encasing you see now real bone, a skeleton in here, stands up without a word, turns away, takes a hand, presses the other larger woman back against her dais, and continues his work on her throat, on her breasts, leaving behind that smaller woman and you sisters in this room.
I would like to propose a truth.
Absolutely. What do you think happened here? To whom?
I think that rather than these two statues being two completely separate and different women, they're actually the same woman, just one before she decided to give up her choice of what her body looked like, and one after she continued to give and give and give of herself, and that this is more a precaution against giving too much of ourselves rather than a decision to either be one or the other.
The bone you find your hand wrapped around is a short rib bone. Would you like a token of faithfulness or disloyalty? Why do you think Macbeth has this room in his house? Did he want you to see it? What did he want you to get out of it? How do you feel about your husband having seen it?
I think it is a token of faithfulness. I think that this trap was laid out for us to know that he fell in love with us as a person. He does not want less than what we are. He wants us to be ourselves. And he knows very well what will happen if we give and give and give and are not true to our own wants and desires.
Wonderful. You take that bone, leaving the two statues to their loud, grinding, noisy work as hollow gasps begin to echo out through this cathedral. You can step out into the room. How are we feeling, guys? Would we love another little break here? I think we have hit another
I
good
think that'd be
point.
good.
That'd be
Cool.
good, yeah.
All right. We're going to take another break here. We'll see you soon. Thank you to those who have donated so far. We really appreciate it. It means a lot to us. Those incentives, we will see them very soon as we finish up the next few rooms here in our castle. And yeah, we'll be back real soon.
I was going to say real
Oh.
quick, because we do have so many like ring trades, I'm just going to immediately trade it off to the witch.
Fantastic.
And so like that's where we'll start.
Okay.
That's
Perfect.
okay.
Okay. Hello, and welcome back to Outdam Spot. As a reminder, we are playing Bluebeard's Bride, which is a game of feminine horror. You can review our content warnings in the chat. This is a dark and depraved game about telling the stories of women overcoming the horrors that they face. And thank you to everyone who has donated so far for this amazing cause. As we plunge back into our game, we'll keep an eye out for those incentives, and I'm very, very excited to get to them. Stepping out of the room here, Fatale, you pass the ring of keys to the witch, which you can see that long, airy hallway that you had entered before. It now snakes off in multiple directions. The gate behind you is a little bit different too, almost as if you had stepped through sort of a side or a parallel to it. There are multiple paths before you. You grasp the ring of keys, and one of them catches your attention. Could you describe it for me?
This ring is interesting because it is of iron so old, it's almost brittle from the rust and moss and everything that's accumulated in it over the years. What was once smooth has dents and indentations, and were it not for the multiple jagged teeth at the end of this lump of iron, it would be hard to know that it was a key at all.
Walking your way down these corridors. Wooden doors, stone doors, down narrow staircases, wandering. You finally see down a set of stairs. A thick iron door, engraved with a gigantic stone head of a dog, a gargoyle looming with massive paws, sharpened teeth, furrowed brow, hanging around the neck of this mutt, a chain they lock.
You ready for the next room, sisters? And I put the key in.
As the key clicks, the jaws of the hound
The mother
open.
just like, oh,
Open and close like it is baying in delight, and the door slides away. The first thing you note about this room is the stench. It is thick musty, smelly fur and flesh, thick and roiling, but you don't see any animals here. Rows and rows of kennels in this room. Some of them have lumps of fur or bones, but almost all of them, as far as you can see, are empty, stretching out down this long, low stone room. Torches set into the walls. This was a place where animals were kept, but you don't see any now. Second thing you notice, besides the stench of this room, is the sound of crying coming far, far down the echoing hall.
I grab a torch and head towards the crying.
Do you follow other sisters?
Yes, absolutely.
Grab a torch. The light. Yes.
I would actually like to investigate like what kinds of animals were kept in these cages. Was this just, the hunting dogs, or was this something else? So I guess in theory it would be, whose item is this? Investigating the cages.
Interesting. As you look, let's investigate this mysterious object. Wonderful. There's one kennel that catches your attention as the other sisters step away in front of you, Fatale. It's slightly larger, and you can see there are these like thick clumps of dark fur that have been left behind. You almost have to kneel down to get a good look. The tops of these cages are dark iron, rusted and chipped in places. The bars themselves bend sort of at the top thicker and then get thinner, almost like sets of jaws that meet. As you lean down to look inside, trying to see who this may have belonged to, those lumps of fur reveal themselves to be the dead bodies of rats. Piles of them here inside these cages, almost as if they had been chewed on. You see some tails just sort of scattered, clumped together, as if almost like a rat ball of some kind that has just been mangled and left to the side. And you think it most likely that these cages did belong to some kind of hound keeper for your lord, Macbeth. Someone who likely delighted in getting rid of pests, feeding them to his more dear charge, the dogs.
I believe it. With that, like, I get to ask two, right? So the whose item is this? What about this item is odd or uncanny? Is it just the teethies? Is it something else?
None of these kennels have locks, sister. None of them have doors that swing open. They are just bars and metal. You have no idea how someone could get an animal in or out of them.
No.
Which you step towards the sound of that crying. The kennels, starting larger, get smaller and smaller and smaller, going from 4 or 5 feet tall towards the entrance of this room to 2 feet, 1.5 feet, long pallets. The back of this hall, the stench gets worse. Urine, dog feces, almost like it hasn't been cleaned in a while. There are 3 cages towards the back. You can't see into them because of, as I said, that sort of like thick metal top, but it looks like the source of that urine scent comes from one of these three, there is something that is crying and weeping and bawling in the middle cage.
I
should definitely not be here.
I would like to move closer to investigate.
I come
Okay.
with you.
I don't know if it's
Uh,
investigating or take stock really.
Mhm.
I want to see what it is mostly.
Mhm. Okay. I would love, since you have the ring, give me a shiver from fear. I saw you squirm a little bit.
All right.
What are you most afraid will happen?
I don't roll for this.
No, you just tell me
Okay.
what you are most afraid of.
I am most afraid of well, finding someone alive in here.
Sister, it is worse than you feared. As you step closer to investigate, you have to get down to look into this cage. It's only about 1.5 feet tall. 2 bodies are pressed together in this cage. One is the stretched out body of some kind of hound, a beast, large ears and snout, wrapping itself around the body of a woman. She's crying and sobbing as this creature, strange. It doesn't just have paws, but hands, furred and clawed around in her hair. She weeps, turning away from it. You either get to keep the ring and choose 2, or pass the ring and choose 1. Either have the bride infected by the perversion of what you witness, find yourself in its clutches, or have it speak to you.
Well, because it's time to have fun, I'm going to have it infect the bride with its perversion, and don't know if this is the smartest choice, but she's right next to me. I'm going to give it to the virgin.
Okay. You pass
Of course, we're up here together.
pass the ring off to the virgin. The crying woman reaches her hands through the bars, grabbing at your ankle, which you feel her nails dig into you. And as she does so, there's a strange feeling in your mouth, a hunger almost. The sense of this room become less unnatural and uncomfortable and more familiar, pleasant almost. This woman before you, this bestial creature that has her in its embrace, you are on all fours looking into this cage. That feels right, which that feels natural. There's nothing you want to do right now more than howl or bite.
So as the mother, can I like step up and like kind of try and push the witch away from it, because I'm not quite sure what's happening, and then investigate the cage?
You can try to do so. What do you do in response, witch?
I will snap my teeth at the mother's hand.
I'm not taking your ring. I'm just need you.
Oh, the ring's gone.
Virgin holds the ring now.
It's like the virgin is like, oh, oh.
But yes, I will not move willingly from in front of the cage. You're gonna have to investigate around me.
trying to keep that over her mouth because it stings. Very clearly, it's like, what?
It
Fine,
smells
fine.
very bad.
Stay right there.
Okay.
Right, so, and then it's like, I would like to know who this item belongs to and why does our husband have a cage that doesn't unlock? Why? This is just
This room, these cages you're investigating, you do think that they likely belong to some kind of keeper of animals, which makes it strange that there is a person down here. Makes you suspicious, mother, of what else might have been kept in these kennels, these unlockable kennels. You step forward to investigate, looking for some kind of lock or key. This crying woman, your other sister, scrabbling around on the floor. And you realize suddenly, as this strange canid creature pushes itself up off the floor, that the tops of these cages simply lift off. The first half and the second half, these bars are not one, but two, as with ease it stands. The metal clangs to the floor on the other side. And you can see now the woman that is in his embrace, this crying, howling woman, is not wrapped, is not holding on, but is actually growing out of this creature's stomach, almost like some kind of conjoined twin. She cries with her arms around him, but she is as if a kangaroo's child were somehow attached. They are one and the same. He stands, looking down towards the witch and the virgin here now. It's Fatale as you step up to join them from where you were investigating previously. And this creature sort of beckons to you, which its legs are jointed and bent, as if a dog has sort of like been forced to stand now, these humanoid hands. You can tell as it speaks to you. You want to join the hunt. You want to feel yourself a part of something. With one thick furred hand, grabs your wrist and yanks you towards it. What do you do, witch?
I push back on base instinct. I don't like going places not of my own volition. So I resist.
Okay. You do not have the ring, virgin.
I do not.
You
Yes.
have the ring.
Can I do something?
Yeah.
Can I dirty myself with violence?
Oh, a proper lady wants to dirty herself with violence. Will you roll for carnality, virgin?
What I would like to do is I would like to silence this howling woman. And I say, what are you so upset about? We live somewhere nice with someone who loves us, and you're crying and howling and making a scene. And I just cover her mouth and try to stop it all.
You are trying to silence her.
Yes.
Okay. You roll 2d6 plus your carnality. As you do so, Virgin, your hands coming up to cover this woman's mouth, the ring of keys slips from your grasp at your feet, Mother.
7.
7. Choose one. Your vulnerability opens you up to trauma, or your carelessness leaves you in a bad spot.
I think my vulnerability opens me up to trauma.
Mhm. Mother, the ring of keys is currently in your possession. Virgin, you cover this crying woman's mouth, hearing that thick accent come out of the wolf's mouth. She bites your hand with sharp canid teeth. Mark another physical trauma for me. As you do so, he drags the witch up to her feet. Another hand. This woman's hand, this crying woman's hand, pulling the two of you together into a hug, and which something unnatural you feel from where this creature is grabbing you. Hair begins to sprout from your wrist, a sharp burning sensation as it grows, traveling down your arm. The longer that you touch this creature, you feel yourself becoming marked with dark hair.
And I cannot pull away.
You can now attempt to pull away if you want to. You do not have the ring, but you can cry. Well, you are, although you are a larger woman, you are not very strong. This creature is much larger than you. You can attempt to ask for the ring and cry out for help if you would like to do that. But as you try and pull away,
I will
not
say,
stronger than him. Yeah.
I need the ring. I can't get away if I don't have the ring.
So I want to like grab the witch by the collar and try and yank her back by proposing a truth and trying to get us out of this room.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
she will. So I will yank her back and look at the monstrosity that is, part of this animalistic thing and in the woman, and I will start yelling at it with the best mother voice that I got. We are not part of this. We are not part of your animalistic desires. We are not going to participate in whatever sin that you are planning. We will not cave to you. And what she thinks is that there's whoever was in this room was corrupted from their humanity to their baser instincts, and to basically act like an animal, just to feel like they're part of a pack and do what other people do. But it wasn't the right thing to do. It, made them lose their humanity.
Who do you think this woman was, or whatever creature this was?
Well, she's been very suspicious, especially for the last two rooms. She thinks that was another woman that was here before us. That she's not 100% sure if she was another wife or if she was one of the servants or somebody that lived here. But yeah, she got corrupted by the men living in this castle.
Okay. Would you like a token of faithfulness or disloyalty?
No, she would take one of disloyalty because she's starting to think that her husband is not a very good man if this is what his castle contains and what he freely lets us see to scare us.
Okay. You step forward, proposing that truth. Your two sisters caught in the grasp of this creature. You say those words, Mother. and this dog humanoid hybrid drops your two sisters, howls out, runs past you and away down this kennel, and you see left behind in that cage the mangled body of a small chewed on rat.
Oh.
That is
Did
your
I
token.
take trauma? I'm assuming I took trauma.
Yes, sorry, you
Okay.
did take trauma from that growth.
Okay, just checking.
I know I take 1 trauma for my disloyalty.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. Then you still have the ring, mother. I'm going to have you keep that. You hear the howls, the baying of that creature echoing away. There's another door in front of you. This one just sort of opens up. You can see now past that creature with your attention no longer focused on it, back into some other kind of hallway or large open area. As you step out, sisters, some of you are still bleeding, virgin stitching in her face. The outfits you are wearing, soaked in sweat, torn. The bride does not look her best at this moment. Mother holding this ring of keys, one of them catches your attention. What does it look like?
It's actually a very sleek and skinny key that I saw the Fatale play with earlier. That I thought that, you know, it's very, very slick feeling, very not rough, but very, very, very slick, very skinny and very shiny, golden almost, looking not very new.
Slick and very new. The bride, sisters, you step out from the kennel to a wide open space, a very short, small hallway, carved wood, into a grand open area. You see a kitchen laid out before you, sort of a half kitchen opening up into a giant ballroom. There are servants here, many servants. They seem to be preparing some kind of banquet. A few of them glance towards you and then look down, but you see one of them in particular stares openly, looking over the mess of disarray. There's an older woman dressed in some kind of apron, high-necked, tied with a bow, pulls a cleaver out of a block, steps towards all of you. Why don't you clean yourselves up? It's not very proper.
Oh, I guess you're right.
Find your way back to your bedroom or some kind of chambers. You shouldn't be seen like this. We've guests coming soon.
What?
There's to be a banquet. Our Lord, he is returning soon. Did you
Oh.
not hear word?
Oh, good. Well, he just left.
He's been away for months, madam.
Is that right?
You must have lost track of time. I'm sure you're very busy with all of your duties, watching out over the house. You have been watching over the house, have you not?
Of course.
Yes.
It's good he's coming back. We have questions for him.
You have questions for your husband. Well, it is right you should pay him some respect. We are preparing this banquet to celebrate. You see, the king's coming to visit.
The king.
King Duncan, he honors us with his presence.
Oh,
Oh. Are we good enough for a guest like that?
we will be once we've tended to all of this.
Better go ahead and find ourselves a splendid gown.
And a bath and some nice smelling herbs.
That sounds
And-
nice.
And then the mother is going to hand over the ring to the Fatale because she knows better how to make us look our best.
Getting the good bustier.
Yeah. I'm not tying up a corset. That's on you.
As this woman gestures and you can step away from the banquet hall, that key that you were holding, Mother, you see down sort of a short hallway, turning to the left and then turning to the right. The curtains get softer underfoot, warm golden velvet, the smell of sweet perfumes. You think you hear running water on the other side of a beautiful golden door. You can insert the key and step inside. And you find yourself here in the bathing chambers. This room is walled entirely in mirrors. Reflective surfaces stretch across the ceiling as well, pouring out of faucets, dripping, steaming water of a dark pink color, bubbling. White marble stretches out across the floor. There are grates in places where it drains away. The entire room is full of steam. The mirrors are slick with it. You can hear humming noises like someone singing, but you don't see anyone here. Multiple showers, bottles set on shelves, also composed of that same mirrored material. Perfume bottles, towels neatly folded of a pink color. What do you do?
Quick clarification. Is it me? What do I do? Or is it Mother? What does she-
Anyone. You
Okay,
have the
okay.
ring, so you can only make the ring moves. The mother's key was just the one that opened this particular door.
Okay. I wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. I mean, Fatale, like at this point, it feels like, oh, okay, we're good, we're fine. And so is going to start, walking through towards the baths and undoing her hair and unlacing parts of her bodice so that she is able to strip away not only the clothing and the drapings of this house, but just all of the horror and the catastrophic things that she feels she may be learning about her husband, in the hopes to simply wash it away and have a wonderful time with apparently the king.
Mm-hmm. Fatale. Stepping forward through the steam, your reflection is distorted, swelling to massive proportions. Passing by these warm water faucets, you see the mirror that stands at the end of the room. You are reflected in it, but it is not how you usually think of yourself. Your shoulders, massive. Your legs bent, your nose long, your hair as you undo it like a mane. Almost like you are some kind of strange equine amalgamation.
This can't be right. And she is going to go up to the mirror and try to wipe away the steam. It must just be the condensation piling up. This isn't what she looks like. This isn't how she is.
And I think sensing Fatale's distress, the witch will come up next to her sister to see what she's seeing, to look at what she's looking at.
Which, as you step forward in this mirror, you see that fur on your arm in this reflection. It grows over your chest, over your legs, bursting through your attire, covering your face, eyebrows sprouting.
But we do not look at the same, do we?
No.
Oh.
Mm.
Huh.
You reach forward to wipe away condensation, Fatale. Wipe. You see your reflections smear as you do so. Not the water wiping away, but something in the mirror. And then feel almost like a strange tugging sensation. The two of you trying to figure out what's wrong here in this mirror. Almost like a bruising pressure across your own faces as your features are smeared.
What?
Fatale and Witch both take 1 trauma.
Okay. I think at the hit to her face, the witch moves back and says, don't touch those reflections.
I think Fatale, like she would stop moving her hand, but she would keep her hand on that mirror. Like if she can touch that mirror, at least she knows that like that is a real, true object. That is a thing. But also
Fatale.
when
Fatale,
she
you
looks
leave your
at the
hand
witch-
on that mirror.
Okay.
There is something you realize specifically. If you can wipe, if you can change, there's other things you can change. And then, please continue.
Sorry, thank you.
Mhm.
When she looks at the witch, does witch look the same as her reflection to Fatale?
No.
No. Virgin Mother,
Hmm.
can you look at this?
Yeah,
Be careful.
I would like to investigate this mysterious object
Yeah,
for
give
my
me those
sister.
questions.
Okay, so what memories does this item hold? Why did Bluebeard keep this item? And and I will use the moth ability again and ask also what about it is odd or uncanny.
Okay. First, what memories does this item hold? Looking into this mirror, you can see your own reflection distorted as well, Virgin. But it is not some animalistic interpretation of you. There's a different woman looking back at you. She's shorter than you, smaller than you. Her hair is only to her shoulders, light blonde, soft eyes of a pale color, almost pink or lavender. Hard to tell through the steam of this room. A blush of freckles across her face. She looks young, too. You see, she moves like you move, with a sort of casual sweetness as she turns her cheek to examine her reflection, the steam and the bubbles and the water pouring behind her. But there's something strange. This item, this mirror, you could tell she sees something in the reflection that your sisters see as well. She reaches out. You find your hand moving, almost as if it is not under your control, too, and just adjusts an eyebrow, raising the corner of it just slightly, smiling contentedly, but moving an ear so they match perfectly symmetrical, straightening the nose, plumping the lips just a bit, and then smiling as she turns back to a figure over her shoulder. You find your head turning as well, but there's no one standing behind you. You know why Bluebeard kept this item. This is a luxury, a gift for his brides, a place where they can take advantage of their insecurities and see themselves the way he would want them to allow themselves to be seen. You can fix your flaws here.
So while since the Fatale asked, both us, so it's like, well, the virgin is looking directly in the mirror. The mother will look around and try and take stock of the room and see, right, this is not the way it's supposed to be. What kind of traps have been laid for us here that can hurt us again?
You feel tense in this situation. Mother, 3 other sisters looking at themselves in the mirror. It is your job to take care of them, to make sure that they're safe. This mirror is not the only attraction. Perfumes, scents, water, that strange pink color, that hue. It is growing slightly darker as you look around this room and take stock of your situation, your surroundings. The frothy pink bubbles that spill down and drain away. That froth, it's more like mucus or foam of some kind. The faucets, the water pressure too. Hard to tell through the steam, but it's almost like it's slowing, going from that pink color to more of a rusty red. Something's coming, a buildup of pressure.
So she's gonna try and push him back. Typical, oh my God, your seatbelt can't hold you. Move in both directions. Say this. Something's coming. This is not. No, this is not good. Something's gonna come out of this, and she's just gonna like try and push him back towards the door.
The water slows and trickles to a stop. As you step away from the mirror, Mother, trying to catch the attention of your sisters, steam slows. And you can now see around the edges of this room. Skeletons. Gold skeletons. For a moment, you think they're like the mannequins of that first room. Wireframe sculptures. Because they're thinner than the rib bone that you would take in Fatale from the other room. almost like these skeletons have been pared away with a whittling knife, then dripped and coated. They gather at the corners of the room, disguised by the water. So perfectly thin. And move towards you as you cry out, trying to convince your sisters to join you. You see 4, 1 for each of you. Fatale, you still have the ring, is that correct? I'm going to use one of the incentives, and I'm going to have you pass the ring to the witch who stands beside you. Oh, I think you're muted.
As I am looking
sorry,
at
go
the
ahead.
mirror,
Mhm.
my hand placed there, I like looking at the witch's reflection, pass over the keys to her. And then the moment that those keys leave my hand, I'm only looking at my own reflection and seeing the imperfections.
The witch clutches these keys in her hands, and a purr begins deep in her throat. In her chest, rising through her throat as it's somewhere between, it's almost a warning growl. She approaches the skeleton headed towards her. And attempt to touch it.
Okay. Are you using caress horror?
I am trying to caress this horror.
Okay. How do you touch the skeleton? Where do you reach for on it?
Well, using the arm that is covered in fur, it's going to be like the shoulder. Just
Okay.
kind of like that. Well, you know how the back of the arm where you grab someone to embrace them like firmly, but
will you
Solidly.
give me a roll of let's see,
I
horror
think
blood?
blurred. That is a 6.
6. Okay. All right. On a hit, it was you grab for the bone of this skeleton. Its thin carpals come up almost as if in surprise as you grab it. It's brittle. Even someone with your grip strength, you think you could almost snap this thing like twigs. The other 3 skeletons stop as they move towards your sisters and turn to face you instead. Face more like skeleton necks twisting, rolling over, bones turning unnaturally, spines twisting as they sort of re-rotate and rearrange themselves so they face all towards you, and then step through the steam, slick wetness to surround you, which building some kind of gilded cage as their bones slide together, hands sliding, connecting, wrapping you in a golden dress of bone that constricts your breath, coming up around your face, your neck, your arms, your joints, your hips, pressing into you. You feel bruises forming, but you are gilded. Take 1 more trauma for me. And since we have about 17 minutes left, if you want to use an exit move for this room, I think it might be a good time.
Yes, I would like to propose a truth about this room. This room was for Macbeth and his previous spouses, but this room that on its face was designed to show these women beauty beyond their reckoning was meant to sow within them the even deeper doubts, because you see the versions in their mirror, in this mirror, was never what anything else showed. And so it drove into these women a constant need for perfection, a desire to achieve what they saw on the other side, and slowly lose themselves to that never ending, that unreachable goal.
Are you taking a token of faithfulness or a token of disloyalty?
Yeah, we're pretty disloyal here.
Fabulous.
I'm also in a
You-
golden cage and look like a werewolf, so you know.
I don't know. I mean, I think that's pretty awesome.
I know. I mean,
I also think it's pretty awesome. If
listen, it's got
Are we
weird. I'm just
voting on
saying.
this?
I just don't
Like-
trust Macbeth. I'm not mad at it. Come on, little. Okay, these skeletons are now my dress. We're gonna be real fancy, seeing the king.
Oh, wonderful. That truth. The steam has cleared away. The water has come to a stop. The floor is now stained red, but all of you are at least smelling a little bit better, slightly more presentable from the water, the mirrors, the changes. You can make your way out of the bathing chambers. Has everyone described a key, or has anyone not had a chance to yet?
I haven't yet.
Fatale. Let's use another one of our ring switches. Pass you back the ring. And Fatale, would you please describe a key for me?
So this key, Fatale is not sure what it was originally made of because it is so rusted. It is so covered with corrosion, and it is almost to the point where you would think it would be brittle, but it stays fastened to its key ring, and it is very simple. It is a simple peg with 3 teeth of varying heights and a solid ring that it is connected to the ring part.
Okay. Stepping out of these bathing chambers. It's dark outside now. The hallway that you step into is not the one that connects to that kitchen, but instead some kind of covered wooden exterior, a balustrade shutting the door behind you. You can step over and see a moat running around. Not Inverness. No. This side of Cawdor is unfamiliar to you. If you are at Cawdor, you remember distinctly when you approached in the carriage the first time. It was massive and grand, but not 20, 30 stories, not giant walls of stone, not surrounded by forest that looms towards, moves towards, steps towards the walls of this castle. Parts of it are on fire as you step back inside to avoid the smoke. There's a room that stands before you, Fatale. The door is already open. You can see, though, there's a lockbox just visible through the crack.
While we're walking, can I do the typical mommy move and do like, and go up to the virgin and, try and fix this and use one of our heal trauma points on her?
Yeah.
Stop. I'm fine.
Yes. Let me fuss on you for a second.
Delightful. Love the flavor.
Adorable.
Also, shout out, we are so close to our goal. For our last 10-15 minutes of the stream. Thank you all so much for your support on this amazing cause, and big shout out to my cast for joining me. I want to make sure we keep it nice and tight. Our producer has had a long day, so we're going to do this last room, and then I'm just going to ask you guys some questions about the final room and kind of how we're going to wrap this up as we step inside here. So, Fatale, please continue.
So you said that we can see that lockbox just through the crack.
Yeah.
How far away is it?
I would say I would.
I'm sorry, I just went very D&D there, but
No,
I guess
you were so
the
good.
question
Within
is,
arm's reach, you can reach it.
I think Fatale, knowing how these rooms have been, knowing that everything comes at a price, she is going to remove her necklace and she is going to use the face of the dancer. She is going to remove a piece of her clothing to care for someone. That item of clothing is lost to me forever, but it feeds the appetite of the horror until the bride speaks again. And just preemptively not wanting to continue with the trauma that she has seen her sisters, not so much herself, go through, she yanks off her necklace and tosses it towards a corner of the room and just goes to grab that lockbox and bring it out into the hallway with her.
Interesting. Huh. Okay. So I think one of the things that is happening here is that you are trying to avoid or escape this room, Fatale. If you are attempting to escape without proposing a truth, you get a hard bargain or an ugly choice. You are using one of your face moves to sort of silence the trauma so you don't have to face the horror. But you do still need to pay some kind of price besides that. You can grab the lockbox, Fatale, but the door is going to shut on your hand as you do, and you're going to take some trauma.
I think that will be worth it so long as my sisters don't suffer anymore.
Aww.
Reach out, toss the necklace, grab. You see broiling in the corner of this room as you pull away, there is some kind of mass of gore and flesh covering and coating the back walls of this room. The necklace flies towards it, sinks in to whatever this horrifying, writhing pile is, and the door slams as you pull away, breaking 2 of your fingers. You take 1 trauma. The lockbox drops at your feet. That key that you had found, you can tell it fits inside.
At this time, because her fingers, her fingies hurt, she can't use the key. She is going to actually give up the ring to the mother.
So, all right, are we gonna open this?
We have to. We have the key for it.
Yeah, I mean, she did get hurt for it. All right,
We don't have to, but
Let's
it feels
carefully
like we need
open
the
it up.
answers.
I mean, yeah, something's not right.
You open that lockbox. Inside, there is a dagger covered in blood. Your hands stain with it, mother.
Yeah, she would definitely lift it out and investigate it.
Mhm.
And then I have a terrible idea for once you're done investigating it.
If you want to use your investigating mysterious object, ask me 2 questions.
And so, whose item is this? And why would our husband keep this? If
Mhm.
it's still covered in blood.
This is your dagger, Lady Macbeth. This was a gift. No, that's not right. No, this isn't your dagger, but you've held it before. It's familiar to you. It was a soldier's dagger, you think. And Macbeth didn't keep it, he hid it. He was supposed to get rid of it. You told him to get rid of it. It's evidence. But he kept it to protect you. Or he kept it to use because he needs a weapon. This item, this dagger, this is a blade that kills kings. Has killed kings. You said you had a terrible idea?
Yes, I have a terrible idea. I'm going to take this dagger from the mother's hand when she shares this. And the witch says, there are secrets in this blood that we have yet to unlock. And she is going to finally use her medium move, which is to spill her own blood to commune with the horrors of the room and to mark one trauma, and the groundskeeper will share whisperings about what happened here and might ask me a question or two. But as the witch takes this trauma, she shatters.
I love you so much. Oh my god.
Fantastic. We will answer your questions first, and then you will shatter, sister. All right, let me take a look at your move here. Ah, love you, Puja. So spicy. Okay. Amazing.
In slow motion, watch the mother's face like,
Mhm.
Oh, right. Should I read the shattering yet?
Not quite yet. I want to answer
Okay.
your questions first. I just want to find the medium. Okay. Here we are. This dagger, which your husband has used it to kill King Duncan. Your husband, King Macbeth, has made you queen, has raised you, whatever offspring you may bear, your lineage, to unknown heights. He has gilded your future and his future. You know this because you've helped him by being here, serving your duty, helping this house You've been here a long time, and your hands are stained with blood from this dagger, which do you regret being a killer?
No.
And which do you think your hands will ever be clean of this blood?
No.
Will you read the shattering for me?
We are no longer whole. Our connection is severed. Our mind is fragmented. Our deepest fears are exposed. Our blood feeds the horrors, and I welcome them.
Thank you. You are shattered, bride. You have lost your witch. It is midnight. The final room awaits. You have your token here, this dagger, but you haven't found the evidence for loyalty or disloyalty. You're not sure. You're not sure who your husband is, what he's done, what's coming for him, which means there's only one place you can go to learn. There's one room that remains. All right. The final room. It's been waiting for you for a long time. Since the first moment you stepped foot in this house. This castle that is Cawdor and Dunsinane, the throne of a king. This room, any door that you face, you find yourself now wandering these hallways, scrubbing at your hands, clutching for a blade that you're not sure is even there. A room, a wall, a single hallway, and a keyhole. The door before you is covered in vines and roses. You see images carved into stone of lions and horses, books unfurling, manuscripts, bodies writhing in ecstasy. The detail work is exquisite. It must have taken stonemasons their whole lives to complete, dedicated to this project. Do you enter the room? Do you look through the keyhole? Do you take what evidence you found and try and present it to the town? Or do you run away to start anew?
The witch is gone.
Hands will never be clean again.
I cover my own eyes. I don't try to stop anyone else from looking. It's important that I stay who I am for the rest of them.
the mother's gonna reach out and look at the Fatale. I'm about to open this door.
Mm.
Are you ready? All right. So we're gonna open this door.
You push open the final door. And the only thing you see is red. Red on the walls, red on the floor. Trees soaked in it. A battlefield. And your husband's head hanging from a pike. Your head beside it in tandem. Bodies, women, men, some unable to tell the violence that they've been through. Armies, Scots, Englishmen, sisters. What were the bride's last loving words to Macbeth before he killed her?
You never deserved what we could give you.
Sisters, what room of this massive castle does the bride's soul reside in? Ones you've seen or ones you haven't seen?
The sex room.
That's on the list.
Yeah.
I have a list.
Thanks.
There's let's see, the kitchen, there's the real big pool, the sex room. I see.
Thank you.
Yep, that's where it is.
If I have to die a virgin, my soul won't.
I would get outvoted, definitely. Because she would want to go to the library, but
Aw. What about the way Bluebeard, what about the way Macbeth displays the bride's dead body makes her happy?
The fact that he's right there next to us.
How does the bride disguise the horror done to her body to the women who come after her in this castle?
we don't.
Dang.
Fuck, I
Damn.
love that.
We don't. He's there right with us. There's nothing to hide for us anymore.
With that, thank you for playing Out Damn Spot. It has been a privilege to have this incredible cast alongside me and to have told this story with all of you. Thank you, everyone, for contributing to this fundraiser. So exciting. Y'all were so generous and such a great cause. I'm going to go around. I have been Alex. You can find me on most socials. You can find me on most socials at Aldermancy. I'm at Alder_Mancy on Twitter. On TikTok, I'm at Aldermancy. On Instagram, I'm Alder.Mancy. I'm also releasing some games pretty soon on Ko-fi and on itch.io at Sword Ghost. So really excited about that. I'm also doing some more charity streaming. So I will be on TTRPG Gifts tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time, raising money for the Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas. So please go support and check that out. You can also find me on Saturdays on Total Party Kiss, running Strange Hungers at noon Eastern Standard Time. And it has been a huge privilege to be here and to help out with this great cause. Let's go around, I think, in reverse order from last time. If you have anything to shout out, Gonah?
Hi, I am Gonah Hawking, and I do actual plays. I do streaming and TikToks and just all of the things. And any of those places, you can find me as Gonah_Hawking, or like some variation of that. I most likely the two names. I don't, this was my last thing that was like a bigger thing for a bit. Right now, my partner and I are looking into all of the entries that we got for our Athenwald season 2 actual play. So be on the lookout for that. And I think that's it for me.
Amazing. Puja.
Hey everybody, I am Puja. You can find me over on Twitter at Puja and at Pujabberwocky on all other platforms. If I'm not actively doing things on it, I'm following my friends and commenting and loving on them. You can find me next Wednesday over on Nat One Fun playing Running Feywild, a campaign set in the Feywild full of lots of shenanigans. And then on Saturday in Strange Hungers with Alex playing a very different character with the same hair, weirdly enough. But a good time nevertheless. And then I'll let Dillin announce what else is going on next weekend when it's Dillin's turn, if they want to. That's on him. But yeah, just keep abreast of the Twitter spaces. That's where all the interesting stuff is. And once again, thank you so much, everybody. As a Texan, this cause is, as a Texan in a femme body, this is very important to me, and I'm sure to everybody else. And so we are so grateful for everything you've come out to do. So thank you for being a wonderful audience and taking this spooky journey with us.
Amazing. Vivi.
Hi, I'm Vivi of Vivacia. You can find me on Twitch as Vivacia, where I really got to get back into variety streaming. And you can find me on Discord as Vivacia, all over the place in all kinds of Discords. On Twitter, I am Mrs. Vivacia because Vivacia was already taken. So that's what it is, right? Every other Monday, this Monday will be it. I'm on Wiley Hobbit's channel, where it's our long-running game of D&D in the Dalelands, where we have just placed Saltmarsh into the Dalelands, and we have just made our way there. I am playing an artificer who is an Azamar and has just multi-classed into Celestial Warlock, which none of the other people in my party know yet. It's gonna be interesting. Also, we this week on the next week, the 11th, I will be playing again in our monthly Power Ranger game on proficiency bonus, where I am playing Lily, the purple Triceratops Ranger, which is so much fun. We're just fighting this crazy piggy thing with 2 frying baskets at a fair. So yeah, and sadly, our queer society game on Critical Misses got pushed back to next season, but we will be coming back playing Good Society on our 2nd season of Queer Society on Critical Misses. And that's it.
Amazing. And Dillin.
Hi, I'm Dillin. I'm Super Dillin everywhere on the internet. If you want to catch up with me, you can find me on Twitter mostly. That's where I scream for all of eternity. And the most important thing is that you should be watching and or listening to The Atomless. It's a long form campaign in the Starfinder universe, and it's available both as a show with our full taped recordings or as a fully edited and polished podcast on all of your podcatchers. It's still relatively new. We're 11 episodes in, so please, I think you should watch it. Next week on Sunday, it is the weekend of my birthday. I have been invited to the Welcome Inn to do a ridiculous one-shot. I am inviting some of my friends to put on a game in which everyone plays a different version of me in a multiverse situation. Dylan, that's amazing.
Oh
So,
my god.
Oh my god.
Oops,
Oh
all
my
Dillins.
oops, all Dylan's next Sunday.
Oh my god.
Uh,
I can't wait. I'm so excited.
yes. So that should be a hoot. And that's me.
Cool. All right. Well, fantastic. I think that is it for us. If there's anything that our delightful producer wants to say, I mean,
Yes.
cool. So,
Yeah. So I first want to say thank you everyone in the cast and all the other casts that joined us today, and everyone who watched, supported, retweeted, donated, etc. Thank you so much for making this a super successful stream. At the end of the night tonight, we have raised $668 for Fun Texas Choice. So heck yeah. I also want to let everybody know that even though we had to cancel our first game this morning, we are potentially looking into postponing it. So just keep an eye on mine or Pablo's Twitters for any announcements. We're still trying to, logistics. We've both been busy all day, but logistics, we're going to figure it out. But if we do it, we'll announce it. And also special thanks to Cole, who did the Pride and Absentia and the Keep Austin Weird overlays, and Pablo, because this was Pablo's idea and he organized everything and it did a lot of back end work. So without him, we would not have had these games. So thank you, Pablo.
Thanks, Pablo.
thank you, Pablo.
That's all I got for the end of the night. So everybody have a lovely, lovely, wonderful weekend, and thank you for supporting.
Thank you so much. Have a great night.
Bye.
Bye.